What's up, peeps? We're back. As always, I'm your host, Lee Benson. Thank you so much for joining us for our YouTube edition of the AEW Insider. This is part 2 of our wrestling news of the week. We got some great stories. We got some Jason Jordan news, some New Japan news. There's a lot of beef going on in the wrestling world, like between Jim Cornette, Penelope Cruz, and Miro. I was going to call him Rusev. Also, Soldier Boy and the Iron Sheik. We got Joey Ryan and CM Punk. So it's going to be a damn good episode. Remember, if you want to win that Bray Wyatt Firefly Funhouse ringside collectible action figure, you got to stick around to the end of the show. Since we left off with WWE, we're going to venture back. On to WWE. Jason Jordan is no longer a WWE superstar, but he is a producer backstage. His personal life was recently put on blast by his own wife via social media. April Everhart, aka Jason Jordan's wife, posted on Instagram with a text slide that read, "If you or one of your friends slept with my husband, please keep it to yourself. I can't handle it anymore. He's all yours." And those two were just married in 2017, and Jordan has not publicly responded to the post. During Talking Smack this week, Paul Heyman discussed Edge and Roman Reigns' current WrestleMania program. He even threw a little shade at Christian in the process. Heyman said, "Let's think about this. Edge is your best friend in the world, and he was going to become Roman Reigns' target. Just to get that into your head. What did Christian do? He ran away before Roman Reigns could even target him. How many of your Christians need to convert before you realize it's not smart to piss off Roman Reigns? You, Edge, have pissed off Roman Reigns. You want to be the special enforcer? You want to involve yourself in Roman Reigns' match against Daniel Bryan? Because you know it's an easier fight with Daniel Bryan than it is against Roman Reigns, who is untouchable. He is unbeatable. He is the reigning, defending, undisputed WWE Universal Heavyweight Champion in the main event of WrestleMania. There's only one opinion that matters. It's not the chairman of the board or his child or anybody else. He's the head of the table, the end-all be-all, Roman Reigns." Rumors have came out that the higher-ups backstage feel that Jeff Hardy is and would be unreliable as WWE champion. WWE has been very high on Hardy for years. They love him and they want to push him to the moon, but his addictions and arrests stop them from doing that. And I have to say, I don't blame him. Then, ESPN West Palm recently had Jeff Hardy on the show as a guest. He was asked about what his brother is doing in AEW, and a charismatic enigma really didn't have anything bad to say about AEW. He did comment on how the two companies operated in such different ways. Hardy said, "It's really cool. Matt is in AEW, and before the pandemic hit, their crowds were incredibly on fire. It's so exciting to watch. They are very different than WWE. I don't know how to explain it, but I think they're more open-minded. WWE is kind of set in their ways. This has changed many times over the years, especially since the Attitude Era. It's just way different. But thank God we don't hit each other in the head with chairs anymore. I worry about that, and I try not to future trip too much. It's a lot safer now, but you can still get hurt at any point." And WWE has announced Stone Cold Steve Austin Week. It begins on Monday, March 15th, as WWE commemorates Austin 316 Day on March 16th and the 25th anniversary of Austin's debut in the WWE. They will have a bunch of specials on the WWE Network and on Peacock. So if you're a Stone Cold fan, this should be like Shark Week for you. New Japan Pro Wrestling. New Japan Pro Wrestling is holding their New Japan Cup. It kicks ass so far. Round 2 has started. You gotta definitely check it out, peeps. New Japan Pro Wrestling does a pay-per-view about once a month, and the pay-per-views last almost the entire month long. The stars, the action, the post-backstage press conferences are untouchable. Give them a gander if you haven't yet. On to some random wrestling and sporting news. Well, we covered how that scumbag Joey Ryan had the balls to file a lawsuit against one of his many sexual misconduct accusers. Well, he must have smartened up and dropped the lawsuit, because Joey Ryan tweeted, "I filed to dismiss the Pennsylvania lawsuit too. We're all struggling with mental health, myself included. He and I will never agree as to the events that took place in 2013, but I could be more sympathetic. I went through something similar in 2018, and I understand his pain." Well, never one for a loss of words, CM Punk saw this and had this to say: "Dismiss it without prejudice if you mean what you say." Days later, Joey Ryan responded by saying, "I meant what I said, more than you meant what you said when you told your best friend that you will cover his legal fees." And that's a major burn, because he's talking about CM Punk and the fallout he had with his old best friend, Colt Cabana. Well, we all remember the crazy night in 2011 when Jeff Hardy showed up fucking wasted to take on Sting in the main event at a TNA pay-per-view. Eric Bischoff recently chimed in and let us know how messed up Hardy actually was that night. Bischoff said, "Now Jeff is making his way to the ring. There are two things that were crossing my mind, and they were both happening. My first instinct, because I was a heel at the time, I thought that I might, and this is going to sound like some tough guy shit, by the way, my daughter could have knocked out Jeff Hardy at this point. So this isn't a bad guy, tough guy bullshit talk. But I could have gotten a 12-year-old girl from ringside to go in and punch Jeff in the mouth, and he would have dropped like a rock." Well, I covered last week that Soulja Boy and Randy Orton got into a real-life Twitter feud. I guess the Iron Sheik saw what went down, and days later he tweeted this to Soulja Boy: "Soulja Boy, you dumb fucking no-good ringtone rap jabroni piece of shit. I crank your ass, and I put you in the camel clutch, and I make you humble." Well, Soulja Boy saw this, and he replied, "You won't do shit. I'll Superman your goofy-looking ass. Don't play with me. I'll turn you into the Iron Bitch." And finally, Jim Cornette is at it again. This time he has set his sights on Kip Sabian's girlfriend, Penelope Ford. Cornette said, "I hope nobody ever has a daughter that a pervert old man will call her a slut." So I don't know what he meant, but that's what he said. But other people definitely know what he meant, because Miro, aka Rusev, saw this and he tweeted this to Cornette as a response: "Jim Cornette, if you call Penelope a slut again, I'll come down like God's wrath on you. Do you understand? I'll personally drive to your basement." People like Jim Cornette not only bring the wrestling business down, but young women and men get abused and they call for 40 views on YouTube. Then he said, "Answer me, you Mark." As at the time of this recording, Cornette has not responded. Alright, peeps, well that's it for this episode. Remember, if you want to win that Bray Wyatt Firefly Funhouse Ringside Collectible exclusive action figure, all you have to do is stay right here on YouTube at the AEW Insider. Make sure you subscribe, because you have to be a subscriber. Besides that, pick any video, like, share, and comment. So go to the AEW Insider on YouTube, subscribe, pick a video, like, share, and comment, and when we hit 500 subs, I will be doing a random drawing and sending the prize out to the winner. Remember to show us some love on all major podcasting platforms, also on Facebook and YouTube for the AEW Insider, and on Twitter under the AEW Insider 1 as in the number 1. Tune in next week, because we will have the great wrestling news from all around the world, and I'll also have my predictions for WWE's Fastlane pay-per-view that takes place next Sunday. All right, peeps, I'll see you next week. Ciao.